A very good day to you. Welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jedel Cabrera. I'm excited to have you for our political conversations. These conversations are simple, truthful, worth putting them across in a hard-hitting way also. And Basley, how are you?
Good.
What is happening within Jubilee? Tell me. Is there a coup?
You see, Jubilee has a constitution. And they gave a lot of power to the party leader and the secretary general. So unless those two have spoken, nothing has been said. You know, it would not be a bad idea for the President Uhuru Kenyatta to relinquish his position in his party. It is done all the time. When you have served your term as president or prime minister, or when you have been removed, you give the party to other people. When Moi left, he gave this party to Uhuru Kenyatta. Now that Uhuru Kenyatta has left, he can give Jubilee to somebody else. But before that happens, if he lets Jubilee go the way it is being driven by people who are anti-Azimio, anti-opposition, anti-people, then now that will confirm beyond reasonable doubt that actually he has not been genuine with Raila Odinga.
When you look at that...
because he has the power as the party leader.
Yeah.
Before he relinquishes that position, he has the power to put an end to this nonsense. Period. And that will leave the MPs in a very awkward position from a legal position. So that they can be saved by our courts or by the government. But Kenyans will know. Because they cannot move as Azimio unless Uhuru and Kioni say so. They cannot move out of Azimio to any other place.
Who gave...
Neither can they resign from the party without losing their seats. So long as Jubilee is still a party. You cannot resign. You cannot join another party. So if they insist on going to Kenya Kwanza as individual members of parliament, then certainly they should lose their seats.
But it didn't happen when UDA was being formed.
I've said as much.
Yeah. But tell me, what does this mean for Jubilee as a party itself? When you have members of parliament who can do whatever they want to do, go wherever they want to go, and there's no disciplinary action, even though Jeremiah wrote to them saying they will take action against Kanini, Kega and Sabina Chege. What does this mean about this party itself?
You see, democracy, it may not be the best form of government as we have been told elsewhere. But that's what we are celebrating. But I'm not even talking about democracy. Let us talk about the rule of law. And this is what leaders must know. I was speaking in some forum, I think 2 or so days ago in Manzoni, when Azimio was, they invited me to give them a talk. And I told them this, and I've said it repeatedly. You only stay in Karen, and I stay in Runda, and the other fellow stays in Lavington. Because there is order. Underline the word
order.
Order. I want leaders to understand this thing. I was telling them, the people who stay in Kawangwara and Kibra and elsewhere, they also want those good things you have. They would also want those big cars you drive. They also want to live in Karen like you. They also want those beautiful wives of yours. The clean girlfriends you move. Now I've told them that, and I've said this repeatedly, and I've written about it. They also want all those good things. But order in society keeps them in their place. They hope that tomorrow they will be able to enjoy those good things. Not necessarily those high scales, but at least they will live better lives. Either themselves or their children. That's the only way you are able to enjoy the good things we enjoy. Because people have hope that tomorrow may be a better day. And that they are operating within some legal framework, some structure. What we call social equilibrium. Things are balanced in society. So the more you disregard the laws, the more you invite anarchy. You know, these are stupid people. I have no other English to tell them. They are just stupid people. Every time those in position violate the law, They destroy the ecosystem within which they are operating that allows them to enjoy those good things. So let them keep chipping away at the law, breaking the law, ignoring the law. When finally anarchy sets in, then they will regret.
Let me ask you
It's
this.
as simple as
For
that.
those that look at how UDA was being formed,
Yes.
and they are in Jubilee, probably
Yes.
wanting to go to UDA or probably start another
Yes.
caucus or something
Yes,
they
yes.
want to do. What consequence will there?
There will be nothing. I tweeted about it yesterday. I said the other day.
Yeah.
There will be nothing. I told ODM, stop trying to say you remove these people from parliament. Nobody could remove these people when you had government, when there was a handshake, when Uhuru was you. Aisha Juma finished her term in PSC. You couldn't remove her, and you are with Uhuru. How can you remove them now? You can't when they have gone to Ruto. But I'm telling leaders, every minor violation of the law, every disregard of order beckons anarchy. You must know. When your wife passes where these people are, inspecting what they are doing or whatever, with that nice perfume on her, I must tell people, these small people also want those nice women who smell well. But law, order in society keeps them where they are. Wanatosheka na matumbo yao. Chezeni na hawa watu, mutawaamusha na nyinyi ndio mtaumia. These guys cannot go any lower. They are already at the lowest. They cannot sink any lower. So I am warning leaders, do not celebrate violation of the law. Don't say because you are in power, these Jubilee MPs, they will cross over to UDA or Kenya Kwanza, nothing will happen. Continue celebrating it. That's why I told Wetangula, you have done this, you say Azimio is not the majority party in parliament, fine, you have the power. You are with Ruto, you are with the government. But when we will be writing the history of this country, sometimes when the anarchy has set in, we'll cite that. That will be cited.
If you're in the position of these MPs and
Yes.
they look forward, they don't see a leader, they don't see the way forward.
Yes.
Let's say in Jubilee, they don't see Uhuru, because if Uhuru was actually there,
Yes.
they probably wouldn't
Correct.
come up with this coup. If Raila Odinga was actually present and talked to these members of parliament, maybe, just maybe, they wouldn't have gone to Ruto's State House.
Obvious.
What do you do if you're in that
When
position?
you are with Uhuru, you are just an orphan.
And you are looking for someone to lead. You are looking for a Ruto in you. What do you do there?
But you are supposed to be a leader. Let me repeat this. I've said it so many times, I have a problem, but let me just repeat it. When you are a member of parliament, you must know two things. Very critical. Thing number one, that you are among the top 1,000. When I say 1,000, I'm being too liberal. It should be 500. But let's just say top 1,000 people who have been given the position of leadership in this country. Top 1,000. From 50 million people, you are among the few 1,000. The second thing you must know that flows from the first, that what this country will be 100 years from now is in its formulation, and it is in your hands. So if you are a member of parliament and you do not know Kenya 100 years from now is being defined by your input, then you are just an idiot. You should go home. You should even die.
Yeah?
Because the future of the children of this country, the future of those born and unborn, depends on the policies, pronouncements, everything that a member of parliament is doing. Not the CDF money, not taking money to the constituencies, but the sort of leadership you offer in this country as a member of parliament determines what your grandchild will find, or your great grandchild. The country she will find is being shaped by you today. So an MP cannot be a man to follow just another woman or just another man. He's a leader in their own right. That's why in the UK, for example, in parliamentary system, the prime minister is just first among equals. So When the president is with MPs, he's just first among equals.
Don't you think they are told that during the induction when they get into
Who
parliament?
tells you this? They go and make money. They don't go for anything during induction. They're just going to earn money. And chase women and the rest of those things in Mombasa.
You've said before, if you isolate Raila, he's more dangerous.
Correct, I have repeated
You've said that.
Yes.
And now Ruto seems to want to isolate him by taking these leaders.
He
What
can,
do you
take,
think?
he can take the risk if he wants.
Is there something that you probably don't know that he does about the ground, and that's why he's president and making these moves, even though you caution him
He
a
may
lot
know
on-
more than me, but I know enough. So it doesn't matter that he may know more than me. I will have no problem with him knowing more than me.
Yeah.
What I know is that I know enough to see danger. I can sense danger. Just like the elephants could sense the tsunami long before it happened.
Yeah.
And in Turkey recently we are told birds were behaving funnily. And dogs can run away and snakes before an earthquake happens.
Yeah.
I too can sense danger. I see it. This danger is clear. I'm seeing it.
With the isolation
These
of
boys are being let on the loose.
Raila.
It has never helped any country when things have gone where we are. We are just about to get a place where you cannot reverse. Even if Raila met Ruto and said, we are never. Give it another 1 month or less and let Raila call for ceasefire and the boys will disregard him. It has happened elsewhere. That's why in Central African Republic it was very difficult to handle that. It has been very difficult to handle the situation because the what do you call them? These renegade groups have no leadership. They don't recognize any leadership. The militia there, they control regions. If you are going to Kisumu, ndio upite ufike Naivasha, you have paid the militia.
So you're saying this?
If you are looking for trophies or for game, you reach Naivasha, you find another group, you pay them. Their loyalties, you give them money. They allow you to pass to Kericho. You get Kericho, you get another group of militia until you go to wherever you are going to Busia.
So
because they don't have a central command.
It's going to be beyond Raila, the situation in
Certainly.
the country.
So if Ruto may know more than me, fine. He could know more than me. But what I know is enough to tell me that in another 2, 3, 4 weeks, this thing will be beyond even Raila himself.
Even with the leaders that control the ground, even if they support Ruto, you say it's going to be out
Let
of
me tell you
control?
this. You call another 2 rallies in Nairobi and tell me if the boys will not go to town. Even Raila will not stop them. If Raila wants to stop them, he must stop now. Just go around the country and tell people, well, we have made a statement, we are waiting for reaction from government. But if he continues, then comes to Nairobi one more time, the boys will just spill into the streets. And you will not control them.
If you have this situation right now that is quite uncontrollable, and Ruto seems to be a man who doesn't want to listen to Azimio's side, probably even extend his hand as you would advise him, what should be Raila's strategy moving forward if you have someone who is unwilling to listen to your plea
See,
and
Raila,
to call you?
Raila can call it a day and go home. Say, I can see the government has no ears, Ruto does not want to listen. I don't want the blood of Kenyans to be on my hand and on my kizazi changu. Because there will be blood. I don't want it on my family and on me. Then he goes home. He can do that. But that will create a worse situation. Because these boys will take the law into their hands. And you can't manage them. Okay? But what I foresee, the most likely situation is Raila, if he's ignored, will continue with this push. He'll continue with the push. Whether he really wants to, he believes in it or not, but circumstances will push him forward. And let me tell you, Raila is now driving a vehicle. This vehicle still has a brake. Lakini karibu kukatwa hiyo brake. Ikikatwa hiyo brake, hata control. That's what I'm telling you. The vehicle is about to disengage the brakes permanently. You remove them.
Is this what we were seeing when he was sworn in as the president of the people?
Those are brakes he was applying. Many people didn't understand what Raila was doing. He was applying brakes. Yeah. If he doesn't apply brakes now, I'm telling you, people don't understand this thing. There are those who understand, but they want power so badly. They pretend they don't know and they share with the ignorant public. Raila swearing in was one way of cooling the temperatures. Because the movement was going to ignore, it was about to ignore Raila. The Migunas, the David Indisa and the rest. They were just about to take things into their own hands. So Raila kept saying, I'm being sworn in, kept pushing. If he had done it around the 12th, or when Uhuru was being sworn in, this country would not be the same. So he found a way of delaying it and postponing it, appearing to be indecisive, but what he knew what he was doing. He was managing the temperatures. And then finally when it was safe, and the government must have known it, then he did it. And then a month or so later, handshake. Again, that handshake was part of the cooling of the temperatures, because the country was going to burn. So people who rubbish this handshake, either they don't understand or they are just con men.
If you're in Ruto's situation now, as the president, probably believing that you did not rig, believing that there is no evidence if you did, if you are the president now and you have Raila Odinga who says you are an illegitimate president, how would you handle it?
What Raila is saying is not new. It has been said in many situations. You think Ruto has not heard what has happened elsewhere. People begin by saying you are an illegitimate president. And then people say, let's talk. Or they are pushed to talk by other forces, international community and the rest. And they say we are meeting here as equals. That's always the first thing. And the other guy digs in and say, no. The only way we can meet is if you know you are meeting the president on that table. And the guy said, no. Yes, I can only come there if then people turn down, okay, come. Okay, you see, it is known all over the world. It has happened.
So it's just to create room for talk.
So what Ruto is doing is just real, if you ask me, is being reckless. It is a very simple problem he has. Just call Raila. And tell him, my friend, what's your problem? I'm the president.
And Raila
what issues do you have? Bring issues we discuss. Wacha mambo ya kurukaruka kwa barabara. Bring issues on the table.
And then Raila
bring 5 guys, bring 5 guys. If you want a mediator, we can create one. Let us look on a mediator. Or let us just talk. We are Kenyans. Bring 6 people. I bring 6 people. Let them talk. Let them distill the issues that is dividing this country. How can we move forward? Challenge Raila like that. And tomorrow Raila cannot call for a rally. You sit down. And this thing will just narrow down to the next election. How do we make sure the next election is free and fair? It is as simple as that.
I think you've solved the problem in 1 minute.
Sasa hii mtihani rais Ruto anaanguka. And you see, Raila has always been the one to apply the brakes. 2007, 2013, 2017. Even this 2022. If he had moved out badly with the people, Ruto would not be governing this country properly. He's always applying the brakes. But now, he has had time to look at why this election went the way it went. And let me say this, the last thing I'll say. Raila has come to learn conclusively, beyond reasonable doubt, that the people he fought so hard to please, the institution he fought so hard to create, let him down at his hour of need. These are the Western nations, America, the UK and the rest. Let him down. And he's worked so hard to listen to them, to do their bidding, to moderate his politics. The institutions he fought so hard to create, the Supreme Court, all these people and institutions have let him down. And therefore there is nobody who can, with any amount of courage, face Raila the way they have always faced him. Please turn down, sir. Nobody has the courage now to look at Raila in the eyes and tell him, it is within your power to save your country. I know he has always been told that. He has also his own conscience. But now he's gotten to a point where nothing of that sort will ever feature on the table for him. And therefore, not being answerable to anybody, feeling let down badly, he gari ya Raila itaondolewa brakes. Even when he's trying to maintain the driving, there will be somebody under there and angoa brake. You know, there are people around him, and there are radicals within the movement who know that Raila can get somewhere and sit down with Ruto. So the more you give them time, the more they will remove the brakes from the vehicle, physically. And once the vehicle has no brakes, even Raila will not control it. And therefore, Ruto must seek out Raila, sit down, say, this is our country. Where do we begin from?
For the people, lastly, last question, for the people in our comments that listen to these conversations and tell us, tunataka kuingia Ikulu, it doesn't matter, there's no room, we should not have a room for conversation, what would you tell them?
I have an ear to the ground. I'm a man with a nose for politics and I understand the heartbeat of this country. I know those people and they are millions. Don't give them a chance to take over. The moment they sweep Raila away and they move themselves, this country will be in problems. And Ruto should not allow that to happen. These people, they are many. How many people thought Raila would call a rally and it will be the way the rallies have been? And there's so much effort being put in controlling these people not to do the ugly things that are always associated with mass action. There is so much. So much. Kalonzo is on the lead, asking people to be civil.
To be disciplined.
Disciplined. But beyond what Kalonzo is saying, inside the movement, there's a lot of that effort.
So we need that conversation now.
So what happens is, you will let that one go beyond Raila and you will have nobody to talk to. People will ask you, if you want to talk to us, come to Uhuru Park and tell us. You rendered our leader useless, impotent, or you bought him. Now come and tell us. Come and tell us. We want our state house. If Raila has gone to your side, we shall put our person there. And at that point, it is too late.
Yeah, it is. I don't think we can
But
continue.
we love this country too much to allow that to happen.
Yeah.
And I hope those who listen
will
tell the president, the time to sit down with Raila is now.
Do talk again. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have yourself a lovely week ahead.